Good morning. I'm up here on Brown's Peak, northernmost of the four peaks on this nice crisp fall day, looking back down at the Salt River, McDowell Mountains, and the city of Phoenix in the distance. And I'm going to break here for a little Halloween anime.
Vampire Hunter D.
Somewhere in the distant future, there's a curious world where vampires, werewolves, dinosaurs, energy blobs, and other weird mutant superpowered monsters constantly harass the human inhabitants. The humans, for their part, live in a largely agrarian frontier society of small villages and farms, except they occasionally reveal pieces of highly advanced technology, such as an energy rifle or an electric fence. In this world, if there's a serious problem with a vampire, you want a vampire hunter. And a fellow who uses just the letter D for his name is certainly one of the best. For a starter, Vampire Hunter D is half vampire himself, which makes him really hard to kill. He also has a strange symbiote, a sentient left hand that wields its own weird mutant power, and has a very sarcastic attitude to boot. D wanders the world, finding undead to destroy with his sword. That's the premise behind Hideyuki Kikuchi's set of dark horror novels. Vampire Hunter D has had 2 anime outings so far. D's first anime was a 1985 OVA titled simply Vampire Hunter D, and that's the one I'm going to talk about today. Doris is a simple, virtuous country farm girl struggling to raise her little brother in a harsh, monster-infested countryside. One day, as she's chasing some dinosaur-like monster that's been eating her cattle, she gets surprised first by a werewolf and then by the Count, a vampire who lives in a nearby castle. Some days, everything goes wrong. It seems the old guy gets an itch for a human playmate every 50 years or so. After he mesmerizes and bites the girl, he unaccountably leaves her behind, at least for the time being. Doris covers up the bite with a ribbon around her neck and goes looking to hire a vampire hunter. When D comes riding by, he agrees to take care of the poor girl's problem, first by protecting her from the Count and then by eliminating the vampire altogether, which presumably will lift the curse of the bite. Back in the castle, the vampire plans to send for his new bride, Doris, on the full moon. Doris tries to conceal the blight, but the local mayor's son, Greco, is a lecherous bastard who has no trouble connecting the ribbon around the pretty girl's neck with the arrival of the hunter. When Doris again refuses the scheming Greco her favors, he reveals her secret to the whole town. Once the villagers learn the truth, Doris is driven out as an undesirable. Doris is a sympathetic heroine bravely soldiering on in the face of adversity for the sake of her little brother. As for the title character, D has the old strong, silent, loner, tragic hero thing going for him, but as the anime unfolds, he doesn't seem that tough. He gets the crap beat out of him several times in the course of this anime. Like an old Timex watch, he takes a lickin' and keeps on kickin'. But too much of the story relies on oddball mutant powers popping up at just the right or wrong time. For his part, the Count has a daughter, Lamica, who's quite conceited about her noble status, and she's opposed to the Count taking a mere commoner for a bride. But the Count has a lot of other loyal mutant lackeys that do the job for him, including a Naga and werewolves and banshees. It's interesting that several of the Count's allies have agendas of their own, too. At least that throws the plot a few curves. One of the Count's most trusted errand boys is Ray, a mutant with some odd powers of his own. D is in for a lot of fights with his trusty sword. As you may have noticed, the animation of the action scenes in this is limited by budget. Motion is often indicated by lines moving behind the characters rather than actually showing action as animation. Most of the scenes are also incredibly dark, since everything takes place either at night or in deep shadows. Time hasn't been kind to this style of animation. Still, director Toyo Ishida has given the anime some nice visual designs in the classic horror genre to make up for the lack of full motion animation. They've also added more blood than one might expect to find in a TV series, along with the 90-minute length. The character designs were taken from the work of illustrator veteran Yoshitaka Amano, who illustrated the novels Vampire Hunter D. However, his art is so detailed and gothic, with wispy flowing lines and translucent shading, that it doesn't lend itself to this conventional style of animation, so it's been drastically simplified here. The best look at Amano's original illustrations can be found on the LD or DVD cover. The music is a bit of a puzzle. It's full of distinctive classical riffs loudly echoing Beethoven. It's pleasant enough, but it isn't creepy or mysterious. It seems at odds with the gothic horror motif of the anime. Overall, I give the Vampire Hunter D OVA 3 stars. It was never especially creepy as a horror genre goes, but it has a certain historical charm for old-timers since it was one of the very first horror anime to cross the Pacific, and it was popular with fans through the early 90s. But age has withered its luster and fans have better to choose from today. This OVA was dubbed into English for a US release by Streamline Pictures, who not only took liberties with the script, but provided an ensemble of rather indifferent voice actors. It's imperative to view this one in the original Japanese.
Thanks for listening.